bros together are a special team. Buckeyes are exciting and never lose steam.
Podcast.
They are Brock, Connor, Rob, and Tom. Baseball, football, hockey are the bomb. People think the podcast is lit. They bring insight every little bit. So move over, Mr. Beast. Poke Boys are the best in the West and East. The Four Bros Podcast is the place to be.
All right, guys. Well, we are back for another special edition of the Four Bros Podcast. We are here to meet with Rob, the boys, Jess, and Seth. They're just off their Orlando trip. They're going to take us through all 5 days, what they loved about it, what they enjoyed, what was the best. How you guys doing?
Good.
We're doing great. Yeah, thanks to Jess and Seth for being our special guest today.
Really glad you guys are all here. And some of you look a lot tanner than others.
Depending on what block you're using.
So let's go around the table. Let's talk about every single one of you guys, what your favorite thing was and why. Who wants to start?
Just a quick little synopsis, guys. Just one favorite thing.
Who wants to go first?
Mine was Island H2O Water Park. The
Yeah,
last
me too.
H2O Water Park. Okay.
Me too.
H2O Island.
Seth?
Yep.
Seth, what was your
H2O. The H2O Island. Okay.
H2O Island? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Connor?
I liked the two lazy rivers.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That was
Okay.
nice.
They're both
All
great.
right. Connor or Brock?
He's been
What was-
Island.
what was your
Hydrogen
favorite?
and oxygen.
Oxygen?
Island H2O. Yeah.
Okay, so that's 4 out of 5 so far. Connor, what was your favorite?
Well, it's kind of tough. I kind of like all of it.
Yeah, but we need
Really?
one thing.
Are you sure about that?
Just pick one thing.
Maybe that water park H2O has that little
Shooting hoops with me?
Yeah, shooting those hoops. Like they have little.
Was
hoops,
that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like hoops in the water.
So why was H2O better than the other water park?
Well, it was really nice because it wasn't as crowded. It had a really good setup where everything was central, so you didn't have to go really far away from yourself.
Yeah, everything was
know.
close together. It was
It just
smaller,
felt-
but there was a lot of slides still. So a lot of slides in a small area without being crowded.
Yeah.
So that was really, really
They're all
good.
for big too.
And just before we go any further, we have these matching shirts on,
Brusher.
Whoa.
that
For
we got.
Legoland Day.
Yep, ordered them because we were going to Legoland first, and we had a blast there too. So
It's awesome.
yeah, we just had such a good time. It was
And I saw
great.
some of the
Yeah.
days you guys were wearing the shirts we had from last summer at Orlando when we took to
Yeah.
Disney. So that was cool.
Yep.
Got
But
to
boy,
wear
we
those
learned
on.
a lot on this trip, and we had a great time. It was relaxing. We had a fun pool day. Jess showed us some fun pool games. So I mean, we got a
Did
lot
they
to
have
talk
a-
about.
Did they have a slide at the pool too, or just like last year, or
Not
something
our
different?
pool, no.
Okay.
But it was a really nice resort style pool.
So where did you guys play basketball, Connor?
We'll talk about that when we get to the park.
Okay.
So day one.
Let's go to
So
day
what
one.
about last question? What about go-karts? Did you do any go-karts?
They
Yeah,
did.
They were
Day
very
three.
fast.
They did. They went to
Or
Mario
wait,
and
was that
Grady.
day 3 or day 4? That was day 3.
Mario and
Day
Dreddy.
three.
They weren't very
wow.
fast. I call them Mario and Dreddy though.
Okay. Very nice.
Cool.
They weren't as fast as the ones they do here, but they were a lot of fun, I think.
They were slower than I'm used to. There was something they put on the go-karts, so like if it was a red no, not a red flag. I mean yellow flag, they'd
Mhm.
make our carts super slow.
Yeah, it would kill the cars out.
I'm not kidding. Like I'm flooring it and I barely go anything
Yeah.
on yellow. I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
why isn't this working? And then I go faster on green and then I realize it.
And interestingly, the drive down was a lot longer than the drive back. There was just a lot of traffic, a lot of accidents.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if we could have done it any differently because we left almost at the same time, but
Did you do Buc-ee's both directions?
We did.
We
we
did.
did. It was awesome.
Buc-ee's.
That
The
was a
best.
hit.
We'll talk about that when we get to those photos.
All right. Well, we're going to go to Jessica Lynn's page and look at day one. You guys can
All
lead us
right.
through all these
Go
photos.
with Duke.
Here we go.
One of the cool things we did was last year we did a lot of the traditional parks. And this year we decided we wanted to do a little different parks and a lot more water park heavy and stuff like that. So we kind of wanted to do a completely different trip than last year.
So this is day one at Legoland. Tell me about that.
Yeah. How did you decide on Legoland, Jess?
It's somewhere that I've always wanted to go. I've always wanted to take Seth, and I read that it is really best fitted for kids under the age of 12. So I thought that this year, with them being 9, they were just really at that perfect age to really just go and enjoy everything.
Yep. Yeah. That makes sense.
And it was a little bit of a drive from where we were. Obviously, it depends on where you're staying, but
about 45 minutes.
It was worth it. It was a lot of fun. It was interesting.
Yeah.
I see you guys went with the neck coolers again, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that this was when we were building the Legos, right?
Yeah, we were building these little Lego cars, and you could race them and stuff. What'd you guys think about that? It was kind of hard, huh? It was hard to build a good car that had good aerodynamics.
Like every time I tried to build like something secure, every part would fall off. Like I'm not kidding.
Yeah, it was hard to keep it all together. But this place was the Ferrari place, and it was really cool.
Did they have actual races between you guys or races with other people?
It was just you put it on the track to race against whoever wants to, and then they also had simulated ones and stuff. So it was a pretty cool area.
Did anybody ever get a car put together, guys, that actually stayed together on the track?
Yeah, mine did. I think Connor's did, but I wouldn't say they were super fast.
Mine went fast. Mine was good.
What was this, guys?
Oh, that was like the fire truck relay race.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. It had this like seesaw thing where it would we would push down on it and the other person would let it up and then they would push down, and it created a friction that moved the truck forward, and so you had to go all the way down. This was a race against other families. Didn't happen to be any against us that time, but there's a bunch of these lined up side by side. You race all the way down, and when you get to the end, you jump out and you do that again to shoot water at a fake fire, and then you jump back in and wheel it all the way back. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's cool.
And in the middle, you can see there's a gear that says which direction it's going. So this one is pushing all the way to the left. You can see in the picture. So that's clearly going to the left.
Okay.
Left here. Yeah.
Gotcha. Was anybody steering or just went straight ahead?
No, it's on a track.
Okay. So what does NFPA stand for?
Oh, I do not know.
Not sure.
We were in Ninja Land, I believe.
Oh, Ninja fired.
So maybe Ninja Fire, something.
Ninjago, I think.
Ninjago.
No,
Yeah.
but that wasn't the place we were at.
Legoland City area.
Yeah, this was Legoland City.
This is not Ninjago.
Lego City.
Ninjago's the other one.
Anyway, that was a lot of fun.
That's great.
Not really.
What's this?
This is where they pick out their toys.
Where was this?
We should have got it.
This was Ninja Land. This was after we rode, I forget the name of the ride, but it was one of those where you shoot and score points.
You have to do this. This is Ninjago Land right here.
Yeah, Ninjago Land.
Hey, Dad.
This is ninjas. Yeah.
I kind of wish we got our things to show to the viewers.
Okay, run and go get them real quick, Connor.
We'll be right back.
No, you don't have to go too. He'll grab both.
Can you grab my axe?
So that was after.
So that was Drago Land, and it was in the toy.
Ninjago, like ninja. Ninjago.
Ninjago. That's how you remember it.
Gotcha. I do like the bra shirts, guys. I think those are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good find.
We
Oh,
decided
there's Ninjago.
And
Ninjago. Okay.
yeah, so it was Ninjago the ride. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, also.
Nope. Was this a roller coaster?
No, it was kind of similar to the Buzz Lightyear shooting game that we rode in Disney. So you're in a car,
Oh yeah.
you're riding around and you're shooting at the targets.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's screens with like
Yes.
characters on it and ninjas attacking and whatever, and aliens, I think it was.
And was it hot enough to have those air things on your neck? Was that really helpful to have the air things again this year?
Well, yeah.
It was, yes.
We'll do this one when it's time.
But we were also in a lot of shade and a lot of
We've
shade.
gotten pretty good at it.
And then last year we got the little cart thing. We would always rent it when we got there. Did you guys take one with you, or did you always rent it?
No, we bought one.
We bought a stroller to take with us, and it was very, very useful. I'm so glad we did that. We bought a double stroller, like what twins would use.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Very cool. So what about this one?
This was a favorite of everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Who wants to talk about this one?
You shoot the Duplo.
That was day one?
No,
This was day one. Yeah, the
This
Battle
is
of
all day
Bricksburg.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was this? This was like a Navy SEAL boat.
Shoot the Duplo. Fight for the Lego army.
It's called, Battle of Bricksburg. So everybody, you can actually stand up on this ride, which is really unique. That's the first time I've ever stood up on a water ride. Everyone has their own gun. It holds up to 6 people. It's also disability friendly. So if you have a wheelchair, you can use it as well. And everyone gets their own water gun. And you can shoot it at other boat riders. And you can also shoot it at people in the park that are walking by.
So it's just shooting water, right?
It shoots water.
Yeah, it's just shooting water. Yeah.
Though they also have the people that you're shooting at, though, they also have guns. They have guns on the, how would you describe it, Rob?
Yeah, there's 3 on each side pointing out like a pirate ship kind of.
Yeah. But how would you describe
the
the non-passengers that are standing by? Like on the
so there's bystanders that are standing there along railings on the outside watching. And there are guns there where if they want to engage, they can jump on a gun and shoot at you, and then you can shoot them back. Pretty much, you stay away from people just standing there. But
and what is the Duplo? He keeps saying shoot the Duplo. What is Duplo?
So like it's this. Have you ever seen like those Legos with eyes?
Yes.
Apparently
that's like baby first Legos.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like the eye Legos. Apparently that's the Duplo.
So you're trying to shoot Legos and people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's not the whole point though. The whole point is to shoot the Legos.
Okay.
The whole point is that they added it. That's me.
This is a great picture. Can you guys imagine creating that with Legos? Like how hard that would be?
Well, what was so cool was there was so much amazing things made out of Legos.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredible.
There was a Ferrari that I think it was like one of the first couple of pictures that where we were talking about racing the Legos that we made. There's a Ferrari. I can't remember if it's in this photo deck or not, but anyway, there's a Ferrari made out of Legos, and it took over 100,000 hours for their team to build it.
Yeah. Oh, and we all sat in it and stuff. It had working lights and everything.
Oh yeah, working brake lights, working headlights, tail lights, everything. It was wild.
It was a full-size Ferrari.
Imagine how many pieces probably fell apart and broke in the process. I cannot. 100,000 hours.
Strong enough for people.
Brock, what would you have done if he chomped down on your head, man?
I couldn't do anything.
That would have been crazy.
So here's the basketball shooting. Connor loved this.
Connor, you gotta tell us about it.
He won a basketball. Yeah, go.
He won a basketball?
He won the basketball with his shooting. Yeah.
Did you get
it was wild because the rim was really not conducive for it. Wasn't a friendly rim.
Connor, did you get to choose?
He ran to go get his basketball. He ran to go get his basketball.
Did you get to choose which one you wanted, Connor, or did they just give you the Celtics?
He just went to go get his basketball.
Brock.
He'll be right back.
Is it in the garage?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is it in the garage, Rob?
Okay. Yeah, it's in the garage.
Okay. I'll help him if he needs it.
But why do we have to get every single prop for the viewers?
You don't. It's just fun. Whatever.
It's just fun.
Yeah. Guys, it's just an add-on.
That's biggest souvenir was coming home sick.
So that's the basketball?
This is it. Boston Celtics.
So Connor, did you get to choose the ball or did they just give it to you?
We made one of those hoops, which I think were pretty easy.
So you chose the Celtics?
I could have made all 5 shots. I literally could have made 5 shots.
When you hit one, you weren't allowed to go any further because you were only allowed to win one prize.
Yeah, he was going to try to win for the rest of them, the rest of the boys.
That's fun.
Bro could have won more.
Oh, there's the part that took over 100,000 hours. Okay.
Nice.
It's only one seat in the driver's seat because there is a backpack that's actually made out of Legos, and the seats actually feel very they don't feel hard. Like they feel like, I mean, they're not soft, but like hard. They're better than.
Yeah, they're like hard plastic seats.
Can you even imagine trying to make something like this out of Legos? That's incredible.
Not really.
But also imagine getting paid to do this. That would be kind of cool.
It was amazing.
I mean, if you're
Hey,
passionate
Seth.
about Legos, to get paid to make
If you
that.
could do it,
You know, when I think about it, I think the tires were real.
if you could sell Lego cars,
There's no way the tires are
They were real tires, I think.
they look real to me.
Yeah.
Hey, Seth.
POV.
Seth, is this the car you want when you're an adult?
Maybe not made out of Legos, but
Maybe.
Like a real one?
a real one.
They made a real F1 car made out of Legos, and it could go like 20.
Oh,
Really?
That's so cool. I didn't know that.
But I think, Jess, you're going to have to
I
save
believe
up your money because this is what he wants when he's 21.
I know, right? I guess I better
21.
start
Oh my
now.
God.
We're like 16.
At 21, he's gonna have to get his own. There's let's see. Oh, we're right in
Oh,
front of the
that's-
Golden Gate Bridge. That was
Yep.
San Francisco.
Oh, that was made out of Legos.
They
There's
made
a
all these
Lego
cities.
city.
They had Daytona. They had one of
That's
the
cool.
space shuttle.
Yeah, and they were playing
Um,
"We Will Rock You."
Yeah.
They had the White House with
That's
Yeah, the
Trump.
White House.
Marina.
White House,
And,
yeah.
and all of downtown Washington, D.C. with Lincoln Memorial, Jefferson Memorial. That was amazing.
Vegas. They had Vegas.
They did
Vegas.
Vegas,
Nice.
New York City.
Bellagio Hotel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't forget the NASA rocket.
Yeah,
Yes,
they did
it
a
actually-
space shuttle.
It can actually move, though. And
Oh, this is that guy they always have in the Legos up at the top there. Isn't he also in Roblox? The same guy?
who?
Is that different?
Oh,
The guy
yeah.
who's
With the brown
the guy
hair.
who's up on top. Is he in Roblox? Or no?
Not sure.
No, Roblox isn't made of Legos, so no.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, that person is called a bacon here. They're
So
called-
this looks like it's a Star Wars ship or something.
It looks like the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
Millennium.
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 Well, who
Okay.
cares how I pronounce it?
So did you guys carry your weapons everywhere?
Yeah.
Yeah,
apparently.
pretty much from there. Yeah.
And
Once
I
they got
wanted
them.
to get the walkie-talkie in every single picture. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, we
What
used
if-
walkies. It was great.
What if Darth Vader came out and he wanted to get in the ship?
Well, it's made of Legos.
Actually, no, that's
No, he was at another park.
Yeah, that
We
That's
saw him at
Disney.
Disney. We saw him at Disney, yeah.
That's
last
Disney.
year.
But yeah. There was no Star Wars here. There's
Jessica
a great
Lynn
shot.
and
Yeah,
Seth,
Seth rode some roller coasters.
you guys look a little sweaty.
Yeah.
We're very sweaty.
Yeah.
We rode 2 roller coasters. That is the Dragon, which is a family-friendly ride. It was a lot of fun. Half of it's indoors and goes real slow. The other half is outdoors. I think it goes about
Okay.
29 miles an hour, so it's very family-friendly. The first
Nice.
one I did not get a photo of, but it's kind of similar to like those mouse race rides where it's each
Right.
car holds 4 people, and that was a lot of fun also. I think Rob got a video of that one, but I did not post it online, but it was a lot of fun. So
Oh.
Seth's braving up with the roller coasters a little bit. I was real proud of him this trip. All of them, though.
That's
I'm proud of
great.
all of them. They all did
That's
great.
great.
This was back at the little racing thing where you could actually jump your car that you built.
Except
Just
that's
fun.
basically impossible.
It's pretty tough.
It's not. The trick
I mean,
is you don't build a lot. You just build like a little bit on the outside and inside. Then you flip it because when you put all the weight on the top, it's just gonna go out of control. But if you put it
Yeah.
at the bottom, like this, the weight's gonna
But
want
what if you put it all the way up at the start? Would it eventually make it?
It's
No, it sort of swivels and turns and crashes.
Well, that's the thing. I figured out a way to make sure that was before I did it. See how it's just way off? That's
Yeah.
kind of how I did it before, but after it went straight down.
Oh, okay.
It worked.
Yep.
There's Robbie
It's the
trying it.
same thing. Yep. Trying mine.
This
All
is when
right,
we were
the
walking
dude-
in. We were
That's
testing
the
walkie-talkies, which we'll talk about that in the parent
That's
advice part.
Yeah, we
What
did
I
it.
mean by get
walkie
walkie-talkie
test.
in every picture.
So we did walkies last year too, and it was successful. So you guys did it again?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Driving school.
Driving
That's
school.
Yeah,
And I wish it went faster.
they got
So
their
wait-
driver's licenses.
So wait, you
Oh,
guys got your
yeah.
driver's license, not your learner permits? Wow.
All in. Seth is upstairs somewhere, but y'all get the picture.
Oh yeah, the funniest thing at our condo when somebody was going to the bathroom, our doors didn't lock, which was really strange. So
Oh,
we
wow.
put those on the whoever was going hung it on the door.
It was also
All right,
a really
let's go.
quick. Yeah, it was a quick way to find like where's Seth? Oh, his driver's license is on that bathroom door.
So on
Yeah.
so on day 2, it looks like day 2 you
Hold
went
on,
to
hold on. Before we go to day 2, let's talk about to talk about some good observations and advice for parents. So
parental tips.
Some parental tips. Legoland in general, what would you say about it? A little bit of a drive, but worth it.
A little bit of a drive from Orlando. Very, very kid friendly. There's a lot of shade.
There's a lot to do if your little guys or little girls are not super heavy into roller coasters, stuff like that. There's a few roller coasters that are really fun, but if they're not into that, there's plenty to do other than that.
I can't remember food pricing. That's what I was trying to think of. I think it was relatively reasonable. They have these really delicious Granny Smith apple fries with caramel sauce. Highly recommend. They're delicious.
They're right near the entrance. Yep.
Yeah, by the double-decker carousel, which the boys bravely rode. You couldn't pay me to get on a double-decker carousel. I don't like heights, but the boys loved that. I think having the neck fans and bringing in our own bottled water was very, very helpful because we stayed cool. They do have refill stations around the park though, so that's an option as well if you don't bring in your own cooler with water. Let's see what else.
One thing we learned from last year's trip was definitely had to get. I bought a used stroller, which we talked about.
Marketplace,
on Marketplace. Save money on that. You just need one that works well, and it really, really saves you. If you don't have one, there's a good chance you're going to end up renting one every day, and it's very expensive.
Yeah,
ours paid for itself in the first day and a half. So
then you had a cooler on it with all your waters.
Yeah, all the heavy cooler. We have a backpack cooler full of waters, full of ice, and so that you don't want to carry that around all day, but you can wheel it around. It's no problem. And then they have these little parking areas where you can park your almost at every attraction and or ride. They have a parking spot for strollers. So every single spot we could dump our stroller. We had to make sure we took with us all our valuables, but it was awesome. And we learned that last year by renting them. And then this year we took our own. So
yeah,
that was great. Walkie-talkies was huge.
Walkie-talkies, that was a big thing. We had 4 total, so each kid got one. And then Rob and I shared one. So I remember we were on, when Seth and I rode that first roller coaster ride, we actually got to stay in touch with everybody on the ground and kind of give them like play by play, like we're going up the hill. We just went down the hill. That was really cool.
Yeah. We got to talk to them while it was going. Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of even just keep them updated. Like, hey, we're online. Hey, we're next on the ride. And that was also helpful because Rob was able to take our photos and our videos on the ride because we were able to communicate. So that was a big hit.
That's awesome.
So any other advice? Let's see.
Neck fans were helpful.
Yes. We had different kinds of neck fans. We had the kind that sort of hangs around your neck, and then there's the kind that is like a U that also hangs around your neck, but not like on a tether.
What about tickets? Did you get tickets ahead of time, or are there things you had to reserve ahead of time? Like, remember at Disney, we wanted to go online every day and book for the next day what we were going to do.
So that's a good point. Sorry, he came back with a little bit of a head cold. So one of the great things about our Legoland trip was we actually got a Memorial Day sale. So the tickets were 60% off, and they just had to be used in the month of June. I'm not sure what other sales they run regularly, but I would just say check their website. I'm sure there's other specials at other times of the year. To my knowledge, don't quote me on this, for Orlando, we did not see any express pass options. However, we did not wait on a line for longer than 5, maybe 10 minutes. And that was in the middle of a day on a Saturday, like Saturday, 2 o'clock in the middle of June, no lines. And we also downloaded the app, which was interactive, which I think a lot of theme parks now have this, but it essentially tells you where you are in the park. And if you pick a ride you want to ride or a place you want to go, it gives you the exact directions for how to get there. And it tells you how long your walk is based on your pace. And it will also tell you how long the ride wait is. So that was really unique.
Huge.
So we would know in advance what we were walking up to, which was great. Very helpful.
That's great.
And we could time the featured rides, the ones that you were excited about. Sometimes the wait was really long, so let's go do other stuff, and then you see that it opens up.
Because at Disney, you absolutely have to do it now, where you book it ahead of time and reserve a queue and all that kind of stuff.
And there were some good food options there. There was a pizza place and burgers. and they had some good ice cream shops.
Yeah.
A lot of good choices inside the park, so that was easily done.
Yep.
So
let's look at your day 2. This was at
Day two.
Aquatica. This
Day
was
two.
SeaWorld's water park, underwater
Yeah.
water slide with dolphins. So let's take a look at this.
Yes.
So tell me about Aquatica.
Everybody like
Aquatica.
Aquatica. This was a shorter day. We were only there for about 3.5 hours.
We definitely wish we had been there longer. We definitely wanted to be there longer.
This was kind of supposed to be our chill day, and then we decided to spring for the water park anyway, which I'm glad we did. It was a lot of fun. The lines weren't that bad. We didn't do quite as much as Legoland or the H2O Island, but it was a unique experience because they have these two different exhibits where you can interact with dolphins. Not swim with dolphins the way you probably could at Discovery Cove in Orlando, which we did not do. But there is a water slide where you actually it's a tube water slide, and it goes underwater, into a tank with dolphins, which is really cool. And that same tank of dolphins is also a part of the lazy river. So in the lazy river, you're going around the lazy river, and then you go up under kind of like an aquarium, and you get to sit there and hang out with the dolphins, which I think there's a picture at the very end of the slide deck of Connor swimming with the dolphins. And they look like
there they are right there.
Yep, there they are.
So the dolphins were interesting. They were black with a lot of white on the bottom.
Yeah, they look like orca whales.
They look like a tiny killer whale. Like
they look Free Willy, but
Yeah.
they're actually dolphins.
That's right.
Yeah.
Lazy River.
Lazy River with
Rob mentioned both lazy rivers, and he loved them both.
Yes.
They're my
I fell
favorite.
asleep at the Lazy River on the last day. It was really awesome. Yeah, it was very lazy.
Yeah.
And
This
that's
is my favorite picture of the day.
Connor, what do you think of this, man?
I'm honestly, I got, when I first saw those like dolphins, I was like, wait a minute, that's an orca whale. But then when I figured out, when they were telling information, they said this is made so then, since orcas try to sneak up on dolphins, since they look like they are orcas, why would orcas eat orcas? So
No,
they wouldn't eat.
Yeah, they're camouflaged a lot like one of those whales.
So then that's protection. Kind of
I
like
guess from below, they're looking up. You see white. It shines in with the sky, and then
now do you guys see why? Now do you guys see why your dad loves the Miami Dolphins?
There you go.
That's kind of why.
I feel like this photo doesn't even look real, kind of.
Yeah.
It does. It looks like it's drawn. You're right.
Yeah.
But with us in it doesn't look generated.
And also, this is why we called the beach house Dolphin Cove, because we love dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dolphins are friendly.
That was when we were in line for
The underwater ride.
The one that goes underwater, so
We
you can see.
literally just saw it.
Yeah.
I was hoping that
river. We're probably not gonna have any pictures of like us going in there because they don't allow us in there.
Yeah.
Exactly. They don't allow cell phones, but it was fun. Advice for this day, I would say get there early if you can and find a spot in the shade. Since we got there later, we did not have a spot in the shade. But we parked our stroller and our coolers, and we made it work, and it was still a lot of fun.
And just so you know, the big seating area is a sand beach, simulated beach. So you can't really take your cart all the way to your seats if you're gonna. So unload your cart and take everything in there, and then leave it at your seats.
So you said you guys wish you had been there longer. What was it that you missed that you wish you'd been able to do?
Nothing in particular, just longer time at the park, and maybe just a little bit
slides, maybe.
Because of weather.
Yeah, the weather came in and they shut everything down, so we decided to just leave. But we were right at the end of our day anyway, so. But it was lightning.
Decent food options there too.
Yeah.
What
was it? We had burgers and
burgers, chicken tenders. One thing I noticed with both this park and Legoland was there are restrooms and trash cans everywhere, which is really helpful.
That's true. Restrooms were very accessible, and every time I had a piece of trash, I looked around. I was within 20 yards of a trash can or less.
With this water park, though, you do have to either bring your own towel or rent towels. We rented 5 towels, and I believe it was about $26, $27.
Yeah.
And it's the honor system to give them back at the end of the day, which thankfully so, because it was so busy getting out of the park, we could just drop our towels back and go. So just keep in mind, you might have to bring towels or rent them.
So you technically could have just brought your own towels in your
You could have.
in your
And we
stroller.
learned that on the second water park. We actually took
We did
towels
that.
from the resort with us and then brought them back and turned them in. The other thing I would say was we got caught at the front trying to get into Aquatica with a speaker.
Oh, that's
A
a good
little
point.
portable speaker,
Yeah.
and we
They're
got turned
cool,
away there. So a couple things you want to stay away from: speakers, hard coolers. We were okay with our backpack cooler full of water every day and wheeling it in on our baby cart, but we saw people being turned away with hard coolers. So make
And
sure
also
you're-
life jackets. You cannot bring your own life jackets into these water parks.
That's right. No
You
water,
have to
no life
utilize
jackets. You're allowed to use theirs for free, I believe. I heard them say it was free, but you're not allowed to bring your own in.
Also, you need to stay away from goggles.
Yeah, no goggles. For some reason, we weren't allowed to have goggles on.
What have happened? But the sad part about that is, what happens if kids don't know how to swim and they want to go underwater? They're gonna have to go underwater.
Then they're gonna need to learn how to do
That's a
this.
good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
But the wave pools were really fun. Really
they were
nice
fun.
size waves. You felt like you're in the ocean.
Yeah, you really did. I liked the wave park at Aquatica a little better than H2O Island's wave park or wave pool.
Yeah,
But they're great. Yeah.
All right,
and
so
there's
day
tons of
3.
lifeguards, by the way, on both sides, so there's no safety issue.
So day 3, we got WonderWorks
Day 3.
indoor laser tag, glowing ropes course, and so much more. SMG.
So much.
Yeah.
I love that. So what is WonderWorks Orlando? A lot of people never heard of it, probably.
So it's kind of like a kids interactive science museum, I think would be the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
The outdoor looks like the building is flipped upside down. And when you walk in, it looks that way as well. So the stairs, they're not real stairs to use, of course, but they're actually up on the ceiling, which is really neat. And then it tells you, like when you're going to the top floor, for example, it's telling you to go to the basement instead of the 4th floor. It's telling you stairs to the basement. That was kind of neat.
It's kind of like in Raleigh, we have a thing called Marbles Museum.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
like that. And
Yeah,
in
very similar.
Charlotte, you all have Discovery Place. It's a lot
That's
like
right.
that.
That's right.
There's
But
just-
this was everything, but
rides.
everything's upside down, right?
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
scientific
Yeah.
optical illusions and
Very, yes.
cool features and
So-
stuff. And there was a cool little ropes course in there. We're about to go on it right there.
Yes, the kids were so brave. I stayed down. I don't do heights. I video recorded and took a lot of photos of these boys being braver than I on the ropes course. They did great. It's kind of like a glow in the dark. It's pretty dark in there, and
So
everything's
were you-
really well lit.
Were you guys strapped in?
Oh
Yeah.
yes, they
Yeah.
were.
Ropes course?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was safe.
And this was the day you used your Disney shirts from last year, so that's cool.
Yes, they
Yeah.
did. They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seth and I didn't have ours with us, but we made it work. So the ropes course was a lot of fun. Laser tag was really cool too. This is them getting set up for laser tag. Now here you can pay by the attraction. However, we decided to just do the all day pass. So I believe it's about $37 to $38 or $39 for adults. And then children, it's like $10 less. I do not recall the age cutoff, so don't quote me. But it was definitely worth it to do the all day pass, even if we didn't do anything more than once. But it was just nice knowing we could go in there and just do everything as much as we wanted.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's about 4 floors, I think it was.
Yeah, we were
And
there for a good.
There's a museum part of it, and then there's like activities and there's games.
So on the
kind of
ropes course, was there any jumping down, or were you just trying to get through all the obstacles?
No, you're just trying to get through the obstacles
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
platform to platform. In
Did you
between.
guys like this, Brock and Connor? Did you guys like this, Seth?
I mean,
You
That
were-
did great. And Connor, yeah.
It was just me and my dad.
Connor and I kind of did the whole thing, and
They
the
did
other
the
guys
whole
kind of
thing.
jumped out a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
I dropped out on like the first stage, bro. That looked so scary and slippery.
It was a
And
little
Brock got
hot.
ice cream. And Seth lasted about halfway until he got to these like leap pad things that were looking a little intense. So
Is this a special filter here with you guys?
it's not.
No,
This
it's
is where
a
you
blue
stand
one.
in line for laser tag. This is what it looks like when you're standing in line. It's just a bright blue
That's
light.
one of the best pictures the two of you've ever taken, I think.
Thank you.
That needs to go on your Facebook page or something.
I love it. Yeah. Maybe we'll make a pillow out of it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So advice. There was a couple things. Parking. We have this.
Yeah. A
this
capsule on our.
We call it the capsule. This canister that we strap to our roof rack, and it gives it a good 2 feet higher. And so going into the parking area, there's this low hanging yellow bar that kind of keeps really tall things out. And it looked like we weren't going to be able to park because there was really no other parking that was available. So what we did was we drove in and we rolled the thing up and we drove under it like that. And coming out, there was no issue. So be aware of parking, the height of your vehicle. If you have like an RV or something, you're going to have to look into where to park.
Was the laser tag pretty similar to the other ones we've done as a group before?
Laser tag was very similar. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You didn't have to reload or anything. It would when you got shot, it would put shields up. That meant you couldn't be shot and you couldn't shoot anyone else. And then it would give you a 3-second countdown, and then it would tell you shields down. So it was talking to you in a little speaker in your shoulder pad.
Oh, gotcha.
By the way, Brock got second, I think, and I got
like last, I believe.
I got first.
No, I didn't get last.
Yeah, Connor killed it.
So
by like 3,000 points.
That was a lot of fun. So
the scores were
Were
Seth
you-
fourth, I was third, Connor was second.
No, I was first. He was second.
Yeah, I was second, I think.
Rob was second.
Rob was second, and Connor was first.
Now, were you guys playing against another family or other kids? Or
No.
No, it was just us.
Just us
It was just
five.
us.
Them.
That was a lot of fun.
But we did
That's
see
cool.
somebody else play before. We came.
So what else?
Here's the
All right,
What
so-
other advice?
here's-
Any other advice
this-
for WonderWorks? Then we went to Mario
And
Andretti.
So this is day 3, part 2. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
Again, Seth in front of one of the carts he wants one
Of
day.
course. All it says dream cars.
All his dream cars.
If only. So the
The
parents get to
volleyball,
watch.
we got it.
It's cool. There was a sky bar there. You could go up top and watch it from above all the go-kart racing track.
So that's a little bit like the camp they go to in Raleigh, where you can sit.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
So when I got
Yeah.
there, the inner child in me came out, and I was very determined to play a claw machine game that got us these giant balls, like the one I'm holding that's blue.
Oh,
and
wow.
has a red one behind his back. So I
Nice.
wanted the purple one, but we didn't have enough room in the car. So I settled on 2 balls. But
That's
there's
awesome.
a huge arcade there as well with all kinds of grab machines, ticket type games if you're into getting tickets, or just regular classic VR games as well. Some of them you pay extra for, which we'll go into in just a second.
Yeah.
But I
Well, they
believe
must have been very prepared for this because they do this all the time in their summer camp.
Yeah, they were
Maybe-
definitely
It was,
advanced.
it was slower though.
I wish
Yeah,
we had
they're
brought
used
their
to real
helmets, but
It was
yeah, a little slower than what they're used to.
a lot slower.
But it's
than what
okay.
I'm used
It was
to.
fun.
I'm used to probably like 5 miles per hour. That was like 2.
Well, that
5 miles an hour.
What?
No, it was more than that. You're used to more than that.
That was way more than
Whatever that was. I'm used to that.
There's
and that
Seth
was
with a
more
real
close.
Formula One,
F1.
one of Mario Andretti's.
Mm-hmm.
And a quote from him is, "If you're
What's an F2 then?
Yeah, what was Mario Andretti's favorite quote?
if everything seems under control, you're not going fast enough."
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
That was
wow.
very-
okay.
Mario
I
Andretti.
like
So
that.
if
I
you're
like
back
that.
ahead, you just
All
spin
right.
back.
He was a speed
You know what?
demon.
You know, I think that needs to be the theme of this podcast, guys. If it's
Yeah.
if
Love
everything's in control, we're not going fast enough.
Assuming the moral is
What?
like get dirty, get in the game, and yeah,
Okay.
get in
Okay.
the game. Don't
So-
be scared.
So, guys, any other advice for people who are thinking about going to the Andretti karting place?
All right. So Jesse, what's some adult advice for parents?
It's a little.
Definitely.
It's a pricier attraction. We also did bowling as well. So between the bowling, the VR games, the race car driving, and just having the swipe card to play games for whether it's tickets or the claw games like we did, and then plus food, we probably dropped about 500 on this. So it is an more expensive attraction. So I would say kind of go into it realistically with expectations of what you're going to want to spend and what you're going to want to do. But I think overall it was a really good time, and yeah, I would do it again for sure.
If we needed to save money, we could have not done bowling.
Yeah.
And we could have scaled back a little on food.
Yeah.
The portion sizes were pretty large.
They
So
were.
we were left over. We had leftover food after we ordered.
Well,
Maybe we ordered
That's
when we were
actually some
hungry.
good advice.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's also a bar there for adults.
And there's
That's a good point. Yeah, there is. There's actually 2 bars. There's one on the main floor.
Yeah.
There's also a restaurant, like a dine-in restaurant, which probably has, you know, drinks as well for adults. And then there's a sky bar for if you're watching anybody racing below. So yeah. All right. What's our next day?
All right, we are on to day 4.
One other thing.
Go ahead.
You'll want to figure out what package you guys want, and make sure you do the number of racing experiences versus attractions, and they're different. So a racing experience was pretty much just doing races. So you want to see whether you want 1 or 2 races around the track in real time. The attractions, there were, I think it was 5 different kinds of attractions, and we were allowed 4 of them. So we chose the silver plan, which was 2 races on the track, and then 4 out of the 5 features. We did 1 of each. And that was cool. There was the different features were VR simulated racing. There was also 3 different kinds of VR games, shooting games and stuff. Some of them, the platforms move, some of them they don't. And there's different variations of that. They were really sophisticated and really cool.
So there's games and bowling. So that's cool that they have additional things.
And the bowling is an add-on. It's not part of any of the packages.
Right.
So you want to ask yourself, and be aware that the bowling is candlepin bowling. Not candlepin bowling, but the ball is the size of the candlepin ball. So like a big bocce ball, like about the size of a bocce ball. But the pin wasn't candlepin. It was like a real pin, and it was on a rope. And so that when you'd knock 5 over, they would pull those 5 out on the ropes, and then the others just stood there still. So it was an interesting kind of bowling. It was a little different.
It was also kind of rigged, in my opinion.
It just took a little getting used to.
All right, so day 4 was 4 out of the 5 of you have said this was your favorite. So let's dive into it here. This is the Island H2O Water Park. Tell us about this one.
This one had hoops.
This was a lot of fun.
Hoops.
It was a tremendous
it was great.
park.
So
first of all, it started nicely that it was really close to where our condo was. So there wasn't that, extended 30, 40-minute commute each way that sort of prolongs how long you're sitting in your wet bathing suit and stuff. I mean, it gets, we were right by our house, so it was great.
And they opened at 10:30, so we got there at 10 to park and got in line. Parking was really easy. And then we just walked right up and stood in line for a few minutes. They open up the line about 5 minutes before the park starts, so you can kind of go ahead and start getting your bags through. We were able to take our soft backpack cooler as well as our neck fans, which we didn't really need. And we also were able to take our stroller. You're allowed 1 clear 20-ounce water bottle per person, 20 ounces or less. So we brought 5 water bottles that we purchased at the store, like reusable, like Deer Park or Dasani. And then I also brought in an empty giant Stanley type 40-ounce cup that I just emptied out and separated and put into my backpack. And then they did the bag search and they allowed that in, which worked out great because then we were able to put water in that once we got inside. So
do you feel like it was a little cooler than it was last year? Because last year we went to Orlando in July and it was like 100 degrees.
Definitely.
I think
it was definitely a little cooler, right?
It wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot cooler. One day was 97. Yeah. I mean, but it felt less. But I'll tell you, part of that was the way we chose our parks and entertainment. We either chose mostly indoor things or outdoor at water parks. So that was a
Right.
different kind of, we decided we wanted to do a different kind of trip this time than last year. Last year, you're in Disney, you're there all day. It's cement. I mean, it's great, but it's hot. And,
It's
you know,
very
so
hot.
you have to
It was
factor
ridiculous.
in, you need to go from little waiting area that's air conditioned to little waiting area. And in
Were you
between,
guys-
you need those wet towels and the neck fans and everything you can.
And were you
Dunk your
guys
hat
applying?
in ice water?
Were you guys applying suntan lotion all the time? I mean,
All day.
yeah.
We did a layer of cream thick lotion on everyone before we left, another layer of cream when we got to the park, and then sprayed on top of that. And then every 2 hours we sprayed, and we were still. I got pink, Seth got pink, Brock and Connor did not, thankfully, and Rob got a little pink as well. But so yeah, those rays are strong, but it was still worth it. It was still fun.
So tell me about these couple big attractions you had. You said there was a
roller coaster. There's a roller coaster water slide. So you actually are on a water slide. You go down a hill and you go back up a hill. Like I've never seen or done anything like it. So Brock and Seth went first, and we're our very brave guinea pigs. What did you think, Seth?
It was good.
It was good. It was the first drop was a little steeper than I expected. So Rob
me too.
riding it together after. What did you think, Rob?
Yeah, it was a lot more intense than I thought. It looked very gentle walking up there, but as soon as we got on the mat, it had this thing that released you to go onto it, and it was a pretty good sized drop, and it was nice though. It was a really cool ride.
It was a great ride. I think that was probably the most intense ride that we rode. And I mean, we even rode a trapdoor water slide, which we'll talk about in a second. And I would still say the water coaster trumped the trapdoor slide.
Probably right.
The floor out.
Oh wow!
It was
so the trapdoor. So the trapdoor when you're riding along, and then all of a sudden the trapdoor opens, you fall through it, or what?
Yeah.
Hi, well, you stand on the platform. It's a single rider, no tube, nothing. You're just standing there, and then the floor slides out from under you, and you go down.
It just opens, and you go.
So,
oh wow!
So yeah,
It's like that.
But
yeah, I went.
We got some tropical drinks going.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Tropical drink. So pina colada and then like a strawberry daiquiri over ice kind of thing.
Wait, that's a
pina colada?
That's a pina colada. And the guy had a nice heavy hand.
I bet he did. It looks like you guys are on a cruise or something.
It felt like it.
Yeah.
We had a really good time. This was in the wave pool.
Yeah. Again, we had the park to ourselves almost. It was so empty. I couldn't believe it.
We were the first ones in the wave pool, or like one of the first ones.
So could you really feel the waves, or was it just kind of mild?
Yeah. The waves came in intervals and then they would stop. So this was in between the intervals.
And then you hear brrrr.
It would give you a little warning that the waves are going.
And they went brrrr.
And then everyone wanted to jump on, they had flotation devices out there.
And when you got to the left or right,
I've never seen a wave pool this empty before. Everyone I go to, it's completely jam-packed. You can barely move.
To be honest, we took these photos purposefully to try and get no one else in the shot because we wanted to portray how empty it was. There were some other little kids around, but basically it was pretty empty at that point. But we were some of the first people in the park into the wave pool. So
look at these slides, man. It looks like so much fun.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, and do you want to hear a smart quote that I made?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm like, hey guys, let's not get stuck in the wave pool. Let's do some more water slides because some of them may have a long line and we want to actually see if it's worth it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Brock and Seth were they were just like, all right, we're ready to ride. Bye, guys. And we were like, okay. So we just kind of followed them around for a bit and let them ride. And then we got to do Lazy River. It was, I think it was the best day for a few reasons. One was because the crowds were really just not blocking the ability to have a great day and have a lot of fun. So the fact that it wasn't super crowded meant we could just move around the park the way that we kind of needed to. The layout of the park as well. We were parked in the shade.
Yeah.
And because it was so small, I mean, nobody got separated, but even if, God forbid, we had gotten separated, it was such a small park, plus the walkie-talkies that we just would have found each other immediately.
Yeah, and you could really consolidate back to the wave pool area pretty easily.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
let's go around the table because since this is you guys' favorite, let's
Yeah.
start with Brock. Brock, what was your favorite ride at the Island H2O Park?
Oh, that's gonna be an obvious answer. Follow Me Falls.
Follow Me
Park.
Falls,
That's the water coaster, right, Brock?
the water
It's an
coaster.
orange
No, the
slide.
green one, right? Or the
Oh, I'm
orange.
sorry.
It's like
Banana
it's an
orange.
orange slide
orange one.
on when you get to the top.
You went on that one.
Pretty long
Orange
staircase.
one's not a roller coaster.
You get on
Follow
a
Me
tread
Falls.
thing.
I know, but you're saying-
It pushes you forward. You go down this insane drop,
Mhm.
and then you use tread to go back up.
That's the water
And
coaster.
then,
That's the water coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
It was
Oh,
blue, not orange.
I blinked.
No,
by the
and
way.
then
No, it's
at, like,
orange.
the
He's
very
right.
end, it had like this thing where like
that
you
wall, you went up and back down. Backwards.
you went up and then you went back down.
This wall
And
went
that's
like
not a
this,
water
and then you
coaster.
went.
All right, so Brock liked the water coaster the
Yeah.
best. Connor,
Yeah.
what about you?
Follow Me Falls.
What was Connor's favorite?
Wait, so the orange coaster is Follow Me Falls. And
Yeah.
then another orange ride that we got to ride as a family. We had to split up a little bit. Oh, here's Rob on the trapdoor slide. Let's pause and take a moment to appreciate this. It's pretty awesome.
I think it was my favorite, but this one and the orange one, I think.
I think the orange one that Brock loved was also, here he comes. It's very fast.
Yeah.
I don't think I did. I got there.
This one might be one of the roller coasters. Like,
All right, so Rob likes that one, but what about we're going back to Connor. Connor, what was
Oh
your
yeah,
favorite?
Connor, what's your favorite thing?
that orange water slide one.
Yeah.
The family one, yeah, where we
Family
all sat
one.
in the tube and you guys
Well,
the
not
three
all
us
of
went
us.
together and
We split up.
We split up. Yeah,
It
we were
has,
on with some larger individuals, and
Yeah,
boy, we got going fast.
we went.
And
Some
going
larger
up the rail,
individuals.
you go up the sides like this, and I swear I was gonna flip over a couple times. It felt
You're
like
saying they had been hitting. You're saying they had been hitting the buffet at the resort.
they lived at
apparently
the buffet.
so.
It
All
was
right,
a
so
lot of fun.
Jess, what was your favorite?
I think my favorite was also like Brock, the water coaster. I did brave the trapdoor once. Once was enough for me. If you're a lady, the trapdoor water slide does offer a very nice wedgie. So your bathing suit rides right up your rear.
Gotcha.
But it's still fun. Still fun to try. I think the water coaster for sure. The family rides are also really great. One thing to keep in mind though is they seat groups of 4, not groups of 5.
Yep.
Since we are a family of 5.
Nothing seats 5. So.
And here's the catch: you're not allowed to go on a group of 2. So being a group of 2 and a group of 3 to break us up, they have to bring additional people onto the ride with you if you're a part of the 2. So Connor and Rob, for example, they had to. That's how they ended up on that Connor's favorite ride with 2 other people that we did,
Gotcha.
which was fine. I mean, they seem very nice.
And Tommy, to be honest with you, next time we're going with you because we need 3 parents for every 3 kids.
Gotcha.
And that just works
like
with that. So keep it in mind. If invite a grandparent or something, so you have a little help for families out there. Invite somebody that can kind of help you. You want to have matching numbers.
All right. So last person on deck is Seth. Seth, what was your favorite ride, man?
Trapdoor.
Trapdoor.
Yeah, that was good.
So we had 2 trapdoors, we had 2 of the family ones, and we had 1 of the coasters. That's cool.
I also like the basketball hooping one. That was fun.
The lazy river was also great. I got to take a nice hour-long nap in there.
Yeah.
Literal nap. It was
awesome.
It goes around the entire park.
At both places are really good, it sounded like.
Yeah.
All right, so
Island H2O, it's a longer run around, but at Aquatica, you can literally stop and see dolphins swimming by. So it's kind of cool.
All right, so final tips from you guys on if people want to go to H2O water park. What are some of your tips?
Lots of suntan lotion. Make sure.
Do you really think you needed the stroller at this one? It sounds like maybe you didn't really need it.
Yeah, to get everything in there.
We could have survived without it just to get in. However, I think it was so helpful just because you're waiting in the heat and you're walking to the back of the park in the heat, so it is easier to push it. But if they had said no strollers, it wouldn't have been as devastating as another park.
Well, I would say anytime you're going where you're taking a cooler full of water, like a backpack cooler, which is what I recommend, You want the stroller so you can wheel that around. You don't really want to carry that around on your back all day long.
Yeah. Okay.
So the stroller is essential when you have the waters.
Was this place pretty pricey or was it reasonable?
Good question. I think it was about $55 a ticket, I believe, or 59.
Okay.
I believe, yeah.
We were
Between
really
50 and
fortunate because
60.
we got from our condo a voucher for some money off. So
We
and you
did,
can use it
yes.
at any of the parks. So we used it. We got 2 different ones, and we used it one of them at this park. So that was kind of helpful.
That's great. All right. So on to day 5, Buc-ee's and Homebound.
Yes.
So tell me
Buc-ee's
about-
was a hit. Yes, we love Buc-ee's. I especially love
So
Buc-ee's.
this was us just about to leave the resort, Silver Lake Resort. We enjoyed ourselves. It was nice. We took this photo right outside the check-in area.
And you said it had a good pool too, right? The resort.
They had a nice pool. Yeah, a nice big pool, and really good food. So, and we hit Buc-ee's both directions, going down to Orlando. We hit it. You'll run into, I guess it's 4 different ones.
St. Augustine's the one that we stopped at last year.
We were
St.
saying bye to
Augustine.
Buc-ee's. We were
And
saying
this one right here was in South Carolina.
we were saying bye to Mr. Bucky.
So
I was shaking. Me and Brock were shaking his hand.
What
Yeah,
kind
he
of animal do you think Buc-ee is, Connor? Connor, what kind of animal do you think Buc-ee is?
Let me take some
Yeah, he's a
clues. He looks to me like a beaver because
He's a beaver.
those
Yeah.
two
He's
long
a
teeth.
beaver.
Yeah, he has to
He's
be
a beaver.
I was gonna
He's
say
Buc-ee the beaver.
Connor, what were you doing?
Because he
So-
only has 2 teeth.
It's
So-
two
So we
long
got
teeth right
we got
here.
fudge at Buc-ee's, and we also got brisket sandwiches, which
Yes,
are great.
that- you should definitely
Highly recommend. But you can get Jess.
There's also such thing as beaver chips.
Beaver chips?
Yeah. I didn't really want to get it since we were traveling in a
Did you
car.
guys think about getting like a little Buc-ee doll or something so you could play with him?
No, we didn't get toys.
No.
No,
Too bad. Yeah, we didn't get toys.
but there were some little magnets that keychains that were really cute.
But the drive there felt so much longer. Like it felt like all day. But like on the drive back, when you got in that car and when we first were in South Carolina, I was like, it feels like it's only been in like 25 minutes. And then when we got home, it was just like I don't understand one bit how we got there. Like we got there perfectly, like not even that late. We got there like on time. It felt like it felt like it only like took like 4 or 5 hours.
But the thing I couldn't remember,
Yeah, the one coming back was a lot faster than going down.
We only
the
took
thing
2
I remember
minutes.
about last year was we stopped at the one in St. Augustine, and you remember,
Mhm.
Robbie, we did the little short video, and we talked to the guy who
Yeah.
was cleaning up, and the place
Yeah.
was so jam-packed you couldn't even
Yeah.
move, and he said this was a light day for us.
Yeah,
It was a light day.
it was
And,
kind of like that. It wasn't very busy by
and
their
then we got
standards.
the brisket sandwiches,
Yeah.
which were delicious. What did you guys get this time?
Same.
Brisket, same. It was
We also got
delicious.
some fudge. We got some fudge.
Chocolate.
Fudge,
I got
and
peanut
then
butter fudge.
I found a childhood favorite called Dunkaroos. It was a really popular snack in the 90s. So all my 90s babies, I'm sure will know what I'm talking about. And that was a nice treat. And then, I mean, they have every snack you could ever imagine, plus a bakery. I mean, it's like a grocery store. So
Yeah,
Rob
Jess,
and I-
how would you describe it?
Okay, so this is how I describe it. It's the only place you can go to buy. Okay, what did I say? It was
Yeah, dude.
a wedding gift, a pair of Ray-Bans, gas, and what was the other thing I said?
Food and like candies or something like
Yeah,
that.
like candy. Yeah, you can buy everything from fudge, a wedding gift, Ray-Ban sunglasses, yeah, gas, and then like gas station food and candy.
You know, it's literally like
Very
the Wegmans.
eclectic.
It's the Wegmans of gas stations because you can get sushi there.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah,
could
you
get
get all
all your
kinds of stuff.
groceries there. I
It's
mean,
like
great.
Sheets meets Wegmans meets Sunglasses Hut. Literally.
Walmart, something. Yeah.
And Walmart, yeah.
Costco.
It's like if Walmart and Lily Pulitzer had a baby.
It's like a
So how
mini-
was so how was the fudge?
Costco.
It was good. It was really good.
Good part.
Hey,
Yeah.
Seth, did you like Buc-ee's, man?
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
did. I loved it. It's literally like saying I'm just gonna go to Costco. It's kind of like saying I'm gonna put a Costco right next to like I don't know, lots of tanks, like all these gas, like they have all of this like gas, like all this like it's huge, like it's almost an acre long of just pumps of gas, like all of this. And there's two.
Sorry.
There's 2 rows of them. I don't know how they do that. They're probably making billions.
Excuse me.
All right, so it sounds like from our trip last summer, you learned some things and you put them into action for this summer's trip to Orlando.
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot.
What-
So
what did
what
you
did
learn-
Seth have to
what
say
did you
here?
learn
What did
from
Seth have? Seth,
Go ahead,
ahead.
baby.
Costco,
Seth, you gotta get into the camera. We can't see you. You gotta get into the camera.
Costco and Sam's Club had a baby.
That's what it's like.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty
But
accurate.
what did you guys learn from this trip that you would deploy next time you go to Orlando?
Ooh, good
Honestly,
question.
Okay, a couple of things I would say. Using we have a container that attaches to the trailer hitch that rides behind the car, and you strap all your stuff down to that.
Do
And
you
then we
have
had
what
the
kind of
container-
car? Tell them what car you have.
Well, I have a Palisade,
Mhm.
but I added a trailer hitch. You can add a trailer hitch to almost any car.
Okay, good point.
So the trailer hitch container and then the box container that goes on the top of the roof rack were huge because all of our bags and all of our stuff went into those, and it really freed up the inside of the car, which is what you want when you're driving a long way. And our carriage, our baby carriage, took up a good amount of space inside the car, so we really needed those. So that was huge because having the carriage, baby carriage, kept us from having to rent one every single day. And that was one piece.
It's about $30 to $40, depending on where you're renting a stroller to rent one. So we bought one on Marketplace for $80, which was a twin stroller, so a double. So when we think about 30 times, 4, that would have been $120, and we'll have this for concerts, festivals, anywhere we ever go, pool, beach.
Yeah.
We use it forever.
Yeah,
So
we're going to the pool here in a little while, and
Yeah.
we're going to use it.
we use it again.
Put our stuff in there, and
Yeah.
so that was good advice.
What a trip.
We could
What a
you could definitely be really careful about how much you spend on food, not over ordering and having leftovers. And also, when you do over order and you have a lot of food, make sure you eat it as leftovers
Yeah.
to maximize the dollars. that
Last year
go into the
we
park.
stayed there 8 days, and you remember we went right to the grocery store on day one. Did you
Mhm.
have to do that this time, or it was just a shorter trip? You didn't really need groceries.
We decided not to.
It worked out. We the resort that we were at, we had the most incredible cook. We had everything from Italian to teriyaki, like Chinese hibachi dinners, to bacon, egg, and cheese and bagels. And the
Burgers.
place where we
Yeah.
stayed was so reasonably. It was actually cheaper than even going to like a Chick-fil-A or a Dunkin'. So we ate locally at the resort every morning, which was very affordable, and used up all the food like Rob said. I think yesterday for breakfast we had everything from bacon, egg, and cheese to chicken teriyaki and rice. I mean, we just cleared out the fridge and heated it up. Pizza, chicken quesadillas, Philly cheesesteak. I mean, literally,
Yeah.
if you can
We were
nail
eating
Philly
everything.
cheesesteak and quesadillas and Chinese food, you're doing great. So it was, the food at the resort was top notch. It was really
It
good
was
and
really good.
super affordable, which was
And it kept down the cost of
it
what
really
we
did.
what we were doing.
Mhm. It
But
did.
sometimes the sizes of the portions really varied. So try to figure out, how much is appropriate for the amount of people you have, and then use it up when you can. But food can be a big runaway expense if you let it.
Yeah, and many parks do
Yeah.
have the option. I think that I believe Legoland, there's an option for like a $35 you can pay like $35 for a meal pass, and you get a full
Mhm.
entree and so many meals or drinks every like 90 minutes. That just wasn't going to work for us, just because we wouldn't have utilized it to the financial capacity that would have made it worth it. But I can definitely see if they were 16, that probably would have been right up our alley. So
Yeah,
it just kind of depends on how much your family's going to eat and what the schedule is. So, but yeah, I would say the stroller, the neck fans, and also having battery packs to charge the neck fans when they die. We always have one neck fan on a battery pack charging and one around our necks. So that way we never are without. We also bought extra sweat towels, which you wet and you shake them and snap them and put them around your neck. That keeps you really cool.
Yeah.
So
I didn't really need those this time, but I will say last year kind of saved us. Last year was hotter and the parks were just more just cement, like unforgiving heat that you kind of get used to, but you also find ways to kind of
Well, this
fight
year
it.
you guys were in water a lot more, so you just didn't
Yeah.
need it as much.
Mhm.
This was
And I
a
would
different
say,
kind of trip.
yeah, as a female who, and Rob can attest to this, I do not do heat well. It's not even just, I don't like to sweat. I get very hot. I get very uncomfortable. And I noticed a big difference between coming in June versus going in July. So even just
Yes.
a couple of weeks,
For sure.
humidity levels
Yeah.
were a lot lower. And also, we really looked into the quality of the neck fans. We weren't just like on Amazon buying random ones. Rob actually came in clutch and bought me like a couple really nice high-end neck fans, and they really do make a difference. So
They
you
do.
just kind of pick what's important to you. And
the battery chargers that you had, didn't they also allow you to plug your phone into if your phone
they
started draining
do.
down?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
which
guys
is great
really were
for
prepared.
photos and
It was a little less necessary with the walkies that we also had, but there
True.
were times like we didn't really want to get our walkies soaking wet. So we had to kind of put them up when we were going into, jumping into the wave pool or something like that. But one other thing I want to talk about is those plastic containers for your phone. It was very good thing to have the nice ones, not the cheap ones that let your ultimately end up having your cell phone get flooded with water because they start to wear out. Get a good one. They're still cheaper than they sell them in the park for a lot of money because they're so necessary. So if you're going to a water park, you have to have one of those things for your phone. And what we did was we took our phone and I put it in there. Can you see on my phone here how there's these three? This is where the camera is going to take. I put my IDs down here so I could see the entire screen without the IDs being in the way. And my IDs sat down in the plastic sleeve and everything was protected. And I could get that so I could get rid of my wallet and not get everything soaking wet. So highly, highly, highly recommend buying those before you go because you'll save a lot of money than buying them in the park.
It's good. Good advice. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for sharing this trip with us. And any final comments to people who are thinking about going on this trip?
If you
Brock,
live,
Connor, Seth?
if you live in like North Carolina, I suggest you go on a plane because it only takes 2 hours, but in a car it takes like 8 hours.
The problem with the plane is,
Unless if you take a shortcut.
the problem with the plane is you're not saving money.
Yeah, it costs more to go by plane because you're not only going to get down there and have to pay for the ticket to get down there, but then you got to not have a car. So you got to rent
You
a
have to
car.
rent a car. You have to rent a car.
I think we saved about 3,000.
3,000. We saved
To me, I
$3,000.
like taking a plane when you're going to like a foreign country or something. That's good. But
Yeah.
on this kind of trip, you want to drive because you want to go to Buc-ee's and you want to go to cool stuff on the way.
Yeah,
You're gonna miss Buc-ee's.
That's right.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's a little bit longer for sure, but you have the advantage of having the car down there, a car that you know really well, and you can load it up exactly how you want it, and you can hit Buc-ee's on the way down and have family time, and it kind of, instead of sitting in an airport waiting and all that stuff, it is a little longer, but it's worthwhile, and you save a tremendous amount. We saved $3,000.
And the best part is now Brock and Connor and Seth, y'all can start thinking about the next trip you want to take with that $3,000 we saved. So that's a big win.
Our next
big win.
podcast will
That was
be
smart.
about
We saved $3,000.
Yeah.
By Daddy driving the car instead of us flying. We saved $3,000. That's about half of what the trip costs. So
Well, I have some more advice for the trip.
oh yeah, what's it? What is
If
it?
you're going on a trip, some of the benefits are really expensive, like $20 or $50. Who knows?
just know.
Yeah.
It's still expensive.
You spend a lot of money, so you're looking to save wherever you can because Orlando, they're masters at extracting you from your hard-earned dollars.
No question.
Because it's so fun, and you're just. I will say at Legoland, we were buying every souvenir that they wanted because we just wanted them to start off with a really good experience and have good memories. So that was worth it, but it was definitely expensive.
I also think it has a certificate of going there.
That's
and now
cool.
they have these driver's licenses and memories like that of things that are going to hang in their room, and they're going to remember their fun summer.
Do you know what makes no sense about my license? You know how you said I'm over 60 inches? You are.
Yeah, I know.
It says height under 60 inches.
He is over 60 inches.
He's so tall.
How many is six?
All three of them are.
How much is 60
I
inches?
think I'm 62.
That's 5 feet.
I'm 62.
Are you telling
Because
me
I'm 5 feet.
5'1"?
Yeah, you're 5'1".
Yeah,
I'm
about
5'1".
5'1".
I'm 5, right?
Yep. You're 5.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And
And
what
by
do
the
you
way,
guys want to say to the subscribers?
the next podcast
Eddie,
is
come here.
going to be about our Mexico trip on July 15th.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to start going there on July 15th. Coming back on 15, 16,
They'll be there for a good week, and they're going to have a
21.
good time. They're going to
We're coming
fly.
back
They're excited about that.
Oh, you got
Eddie,
Eddie.
say
You
hi
got
to
Eddie.
Yes, Eddie.
Eddie.
Eddie
What's up,
got to go
man?
to
Hey,
doggy
buddy.
daycare, and he had a great time at doggy daycare. Eddie, what did you learn?
Yay.
And
Edward.
he's also excited. We just got him a brand new dog door. He tore his other one to pieces, so he's trying to
Edward.
learn how to use the new dog door.
Yeah, he's cute, but he's also savage.
He's so
So
sad.
for those of you who don't know on the podcast, that's Eddie Van Halen. So he's the family dog.
Yeah.
We named him that.
Yeah.
Just telling you.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, thanks everybody for joining us. Please
Yep.
like and subscribe and
Thank you.
help us out with that. And we would love to hear from you. Give us some advice on what you did on your trip, and or any thoughts you have on advice that we've given you guys, or thoughts about our trip that we did. And we hope that you're able to tune in soon.
I have another
if you
piece
come-
of advice.
What's that?
Try not to bring babies because that's a long drive ahead of you.
Also
Yeah.
pets.
That's true.
Try to make sure they're like 6 and above because
Yeah.
think about
It's
babies.
actually good advice.
You're having to like sit in the car for 8 hours. Are you kidding me? A baby's gonna freak out like 20 minutes in the car.
It's pretty hard on a baby.
5
That's true.
minutes, they're already freaking out.
That's
Like,
good
This was
advice,
a
man.
perfect age, guys. 9 years old. They could entertain themselves a little bit. They could pop onto the iPad. We were listening to comedians, and they could
family
enjoy
comedy.
and
that. Family comedy. It was hilarious.
What's your password? I don't remember.
I
What do you
don't
mean you
remember.
don't remember?
Yeah,
I
we're
thought
listening
you
to
just
Jeff
said you know the
Dunham.
Jeff
password.
Dunham for the win. With
We're listening to Jeff
Second
Dunham.
password.
by the way,
I can't
So wait,
tell
is
you.
Brock Jeff Dunham now?
You can't tell
Yeah.
me. It's my passcode.
what,
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
guys, by
That
the
was
way,
fun.
Third one.
so the good thing about going at that hotel, what was it called?
Silver Lake Resort.
Silver Lake. We had our own TV in our room. So
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
wow.
the kids
They
who
did.
Yeah, it was a
kids
good
who
setup.
Go there. I would suggest you if you wake up before everybody. I suggest close your door. Make sure the TV isn't too loud. But like you make sure that that's something entertaining. You can turn on channels.
Mhm.
That's kind of what me and Brock did one
Yeah.
morning. We woke
So
up.
wait, did you
7.
learn how to turn it on, Connor?
Yes,
Did you
I
guys train?
turned on.
Yeah, they would watch it before they came in the morning.
And then we play on our iPads when we came in.
No, we
So-
didn't. We were just chillaxing, partying in our room. We were like, doo, doo, doo. Ooh.
Anyway,
Party.
thanks so much for
Party.
joining us, everybody.
And
Take
if
care,
you're
everybody.
a mom,
Yeah.
give me your tips. I'm not usually on the podcast, but if you are a mom that travels with youngins, I
next
would
time.
love to hear your advice.
Be sure to comment.
Thank you,
Eddie
Jess.
is
Thank you,
cute.
Seth. Thank you, boys.
If you guys think Eddie is cute,
Okay,
comment
guys.
comments
Eddie's
below.
cute.
Hey, thanks
Stop
for
my
joining us,
comment.
guys. Like and subscribe. We'll see you soon.
See you in the
Four
next
Bros
one.
signing out.
See you in the
The
next
four
one.
bros together are a special team. Hawkeyes are exciting and never lose steam. They are Brock, Connor, Rob, and Tom. Baseball, football, hockey are the bomb. People think the podcast is lit. They bring insight every